Hello everyone, welcome to mobile learning app iOS starter kit configuration video. In this video I'm going to explain how to configure complete app and also make some UI minor changes. So before going through the configuration, I would like to give a small demo of the application. So as you see in the previous version the UI was very basic. Here we can see very beautiful and advanced UI. So let's start with study. You can see study, give tests, test history, and more subjects. Where study and more subjects are optional, you can enable and disable these features in configuration.plist. So let's start with study. So here I have added two subjects in the plist. So the plist is dynamic. So, the subjects are unlimited. Like you can add any number of subjects, and each subject can have any number of chapters. And subject can also have a description. Here you can specify what description uh, you want to give about the subject and chapters involved in this subject. So here I have added four chapters already. So yeah, right now the studied percentage completed is 0, and you can see that the chapters all four chapters are coming from plist. So there are different type of study materials we can use. The one is plist format, which is multiple choice questions where we can add in the plist, and the second one is web links and offline web pages and PDF one. So let's start with the first chapter. All the chapter name and chapter related details come from the plist files and the files. So let's start with chapter 1. So this is picture type answers question, where you can see all the answers are pictures, and multi-line question you can have. The length is dynamic, and here you can see the explanation. So this is the study mode. So we are displaying the answer. Yeah. So this is a question attached with the picture, and even we can attach a video for this. So you can just click on picture and see the picture and answer the question. So here answers are dynamic. Any number of answers we can add. So more than one correct answers we can add, and also other additional answers. So explanation. This is another type of study question. So where we have question and answer. This is the same like multiple choice question. So you can see that question type is a parameter in plist format. This question type is used to define the type of question, whether it is picture based or video based or just normal text question. So that I'll be showing in the configuration details. So next, this is a video type question. So here video is attached with the question. So now we can see that there are many number of multiple choice options. You can add options till Z and explanation. So next question. This is again text question. I'll just click next. Okay, so this is a final study screen where it says that 100% study is completed. Total questions studied are 11, questions completed 11, and remaining questions 0. So when I say home, we come to the home screen. So if you go back again to the study, so you see that the subject has finished 25%. If I expand the number, the chapter 1 is completed 100%. So the average of all four chapters is 25%. So subject is completed 25%. So let's take chapter 2. So this is chapter 2 with a PDF reader, where you can provide a PDF file as your study study material. So you can see all the pages here. So you can directly go to required page, and this is start over, so which will reset the study progress as well as go to the first page of the PDF. Let's go back. So now this is PDF based. 44% is calculated depending on subject percentage updated. So next one is, this is offline HTML page based. So all the offline HTML content will be there in the application. So this is a video. You can embed anything in the HTML, and those resource needs to be in the project. The format I'll be explaining later. Back. And this is web link. Web links you can use as study link. So you can use any link. So once I finish studying, you can see that once I reach end of the page of the any web page, then it is calculated as 100%. The total study is 86% completed for this subject. So this is again subject 2. We can have any number of chapters. So now I'll go back. So here we can, in give test, you can give the test for the subjects you studied. So before going to test, we have some instructions. These instructions are coming from a plist file from the project, so you can have your own instructions before user taking the study. So say next, and here you can see that the 86% study is completed here. So this user will be assured that okay, I have completed 86%, so I can now take the test. Here you can see that the subject 2 is 0%. So choose the subject you want to take the test and start. So my test duration is 10 minutes. For testing purpose, I have used 10 minutes and also some random questions. So here you can answer the question by clicking on the option and say next. And also you can mark for review or mark skipped. And here this is a special question I wanted to explain. So there are two correct answers here. So if you can see, you can make multiple selection here. You can have more than one correct or more any n number of correct answers as well as wrong answers. So you can go on answering. The text length of answers is also dynamic. Depending on the answer length, the text area will be expanded. So if you have not selected any answer and click next, it will ask for select answers to proceed, or else choose mark for review or mark skipped to ignore this question and then go to next question. So user has to take some action before going to the next question. Either he can mark skipped and say next. I'll just pass all the questions. So this is a picture question. I'll just mark for review. The test section also has the picture options. So now we can see here questions marked for review. These are the questions which I have marked for review, and these are the skipped questions, and these are answered questions. This is all questions. So in still I have time so that I can answer these marked for review questions. So I can just select the answer. Either I can save. Once it is saved, it will come into answered list. So again I can select any answer, save, and these are the skipped questions. So we can answer those skipped questions if interested. So basically skipped question is for if user doesn't know the answer and do not want to answer it again. So those will come here, which will save a lot of time for the user. So then answered questions, I would like to submit like this. So so when I submit, it will go to the result screen. Before that, if timer gets over, it will ask for submit or cancel the test. So before still timer is for 6 minutes, so I will submit it. So you can see that my result is 21% is pass, because the test passing percentage I have given is 10%. So that configuration can be done in plist file. So here you can see time taken 3 minutes 36 seconds and duration was 10 minutes. Right answers 4, and out of 20 questions, right questions are 4. Total questions 20 attempted, correct answers, wrong answers. And these are the questions which I attempted. So you can just click on question and go on browsing. Okay, here you can see that you have answered it wrongly. The correct answer is stems. So go to next question. So here this you have answered wrongly and the correct answer is A. Same like this. You can see all the questions. See here this question I have not answered, so no answer is selection is showing, but correct answer it is displaying. See, wrong answer selected. This is correct answer. One answer you have selected, but one answer you have left. Just say next. So in this result mode, we can see the explanation for the answers, why it is correct. This is correct answer. Make sure that the answers should not be duplicate. Otherwise, app will not behave properly. So make sure there won't be any duplicate. So now we can see chapter wise results. So in chapter 1, I total questions were 5 and attempted all I have answered, and correct 3 correct answers and 2 wrong answers. Like that, chapter 2, chapter 3, all details are there. So what all questions in chapter 1 I have answered, I can just click and see. So 1 to 5 questions are from chapter. Okay. So all the questions, so right now all the questions are shuffled from a pool of questions for chapter 1. Suppose I am picking 5 questions from chapter 1 for test. That means suppose if chapter 1 has 100 questions, then I'll be fetching 100 random 5 questions from the out of 100. So chapter 1 uh, from chapter 1 5 questions, chapter 2 5 questions, or maybe chapter 3 8 questions, something like that we can configure in plist. So now I'll go back to home. So test is completed. More subjects. In this section we we make in-app purchases to buy the subjects. So here you can give the introduction for the subject, what all chapters involved in the subject. So this is everything is configurable, and even the price, fetch it from iTunes store. So depending on your country, the currency symbol is showed, and restore button if you have already purchased. So in simulator I cannot test buy, so we have to use device to get this done. So even parental gate is there, which you can enable and disable. If the app is made for kids, then you can go for parental gate, which can be enabled just by saying yes in plist file. Otherwise you can disable. So if I say 90 is the correct answer. So here you can log in and make the purchase. Once the purchase is made, that subject will be appearing in this subjects list. So this is about the app or any about your company, any details you want to put. This comes from the playlist, so which is all dynamic. And again the settings, clear test history. So you can just clear, if you see here the test, right now I have one test here. So if I want to clear it, I can clear from here, as well as I can clear from the settings. And reset study progress. If I reset the study progress, so you will see that this percentage completed for all the chapters will become 0. Okay, and terms and conditions, you can have your own terms and conditions. Okay, this is the demo of the application. So now I'll show how to configure data in the app. So how it is configured, I'll just show that. So in the application we have app data, which has all the application data, and we have media folder, study data, and test data. So study data is related for study section, this section. So here we can see that two subjects are there. So there are two subjects. If we go, there are two subjects are there. And test data, for test data, subject 1 test and subject 2 test. So here we can add subject. If we have two study subjects, then we can add two test folders. So these all configurations are done from this subjects.plist. So in subjects.plist, so if I expand, you can see that name of the subject and description, subject folder name, media folder name, and test duration. And this test duration is for this particular subject. And we can specify the chapters array, which will have all the chapters for the subject. So here the chapter name, you can specify your own chapter name. Something I would like to edit, science. If I make it science, I just want to show physics, something botany. So like this, so I can modify. And if I rerun the app, you can see that science subject, and chapter name is physics botany. So like this we can add all the chapters, the chapter name, chapter. So here is a configuration for chapter. Study chapter file name, this is a chapter1.plist. So if I go to study section, so there is a chapter1.plist. So this file name you have to specify here, so which has all type of playlist multiple choice questions. Depending on the file extension, the app will identify whether it is multiple choice study material, or if it is a PDF, then it is different type of study material. Like that, app will identify. So if you go to chapter 1, you can add all the questions needed for the study. So I have added 10 questions. Every question options. So any number of options you can have. You can just say enter and go on adding any option here. Then correct answers array. So if uh, th this is actually question type 1, so that means this is a picture based question where options will just a second. Yeah, question type multiple choice. Yeah, so if question type is 1, then you have to enter the image name. That is the option, answer option. If it is image, then you have to enter the image name here. So, and you can go on adding any number of image names, and this image is placed under media. So for subject 1, the chapter list, the question file will be there in the study data, and the media is common folder for both test and the study. So the files are placed here, and video files, whatever files comes, if for that particular folder, media file will be placed. So if you see all the configuration, which folder we are using, everything is configured in subjects.plist. So if I go to Finder, so you can see the structure, how it is managed. So this is the app data, and this is the media, and this is study data and test data. Subject list will have all the information from where to access, and what is the test duration, and what is the question limit for each test, and other details. So if test data goes into test data folder, and media details, media files go into media folder, and study data into study folder. So study underscore data folder. So this is how the structure is maintained. So here, yeah, so in subjects we have two subjects, and this folder name needs to be specified here. Here we have to specify the study folder name, that is subjects. We can have any other folder, any name for the folder, that needs to be specified here. And media folder name is media folder name. The root folder is media, but where the media is stored for subject 1, that folder we have to specify. I have stored it as subject underscore 1. It can be anything, with whatever the folder name you specify. And the chapters, every subject have chapters. So here 1 2 3 4 chapters we have. The first chapter is related to plist XML based study file. So that's why in subject 1 study section I have chapter 1.plist. But second chapter is, if you see that, second chapter is based on PDF. So in subject 1 study data we have documentation.pdf, and this is specified in, yeah, this is study chapter file name is specified as documentation.pdf, and test chapter file name. So if you can see, there is a test data folder in which I have chapter 2, that is chapter underscore 2.plist. The test file will be always in plist format. So if you can see, I have, for subject 1 I have 3 chapters associated with this subject. All the test questions are pulled from these test plist files, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And while taking the test, we can configure like how many questions needs to be pulled from each chapter. That is, in first chapter, so I say the test question limit is 5. So 5 questions from this first chapter are pulled, and 5 from second chapter. This can be configured, but make sure that the sum up, whatever, if it sums to 20 questions, then please make sure that minimum 20 questions are there in all the chapters. If the test limit is test question limit is 5, then make sure that chapter 1 has minimum 5 questions. So this is how the data is stored, and there are different type of questions. Like in study we have question answer type of question. This is a special question type 1. Here question and answer will be there but no options. Okay, so if question type is 2, then we are going to have options. You can see the, if the question type is 3, then it will be video type question. So you can see that media is the video file name, which is placed under media and subject 1. So all the plist editing, for editing plist files you can use Xcode, which is easy way to do. So text files make it complex to edit the plist files. Yeah, so we'll go back to subject.plist, and you can see the second subject. Sorry, subjects. Okay, we'll go into first subject itself. Yeah, so in second chapter, if you see, a PDF file is there, and in third chapter, that is local HTML based. So you can see that test.html, all HTML file and its related files under test.html.files. So this is archive of a HTML file. Once you archive, place all the files under subject_1. And if it is online link, you do not need to put any files. So you have to just specify the link. If chapter is link based, online link based, then you can just put a link for the study, and test chapter file name remains same, and every test has its own question limits, and test duration will be same for the whole subject test. Hope all configuration details are clear. Before that, yeah, one more detail is, you can see that this app supports from iOS 7 to the latest one, and the the application has icon, which is you can replace with your own icons. Just select all the icons and make it show in Finder. You have to, if you want to have different icons, then you have to replace these icons with the same name and same dimension. For example, if you want to replace this icon, then the dimension is 29 by 29, and the file name must be same for all the icons. You have to replace these many images to have your own icon. And you can also see that the images starting with default, you have to replace these images to get launch image. Right now I have some blank images, so I am sure that you want to have your own launching images. So you have to add your, replace these launching images with same name, and please make sure that the name is not changed. Even capitalization is very important. Thank you. So I hope the configuration detail is very clear. So, I have showed all the structure of the app data, but I have not added any individual question or subject right away and showed, which is already ready. I have shown you. So if you want to edit, you can just go to subjects list, just delete Otherwise you can directly edit existing ones and use the same this one. So if you want to have uh, additional subject, just copy this and paste and then go edit. So avoid creating fresh empty plist file, so which will be difficult for you to understand the structure of the plist file. Okay, thank you. Please download and give me your valuable reviews. And there are more coming in future with CMS based, and also will build a Mac tool for creating data. So for now you can use this, and the future version will be having which will be supporting both CMS as well as offline. You have to just say yes no in the configuration file. Yeah, let me show you. I just forgot to explain configuration.plist. So here, if you have seen in the previous version, we had test duration and per test questions limit here. So now it is not required. So I'm going to delete it. Okay, both options. Now we have that setting for every chapter, so that we can specify we can specify the number of test question limits for every chapter, instead of dividing equally from every chapter and pulling the questions. So let's see feature settings. Here, in-app purchase needed, we can say yes no. If this is disabled, so this more subjects will not be shown. For example, I'll just disable it. Just you can see that test history, there is no in-app purchase support now. So if you want to enable it, just say yes. And study feature, some people do not need a study feature and they just want to take test, so you can say that study feature needed, no. Then see, you can just directly take the test in test history and more subjects. And here is the passing percentage. Passing percentage is 10% here, so you can modify to any number. So you can have 35 percentage, or in according to your requirement. Test instructions, these are the instructions for the test before taking test. So you can see instructions here, that instruction text can be placed over here. And terms and conditions for the application you can place here. And the about section, this is terms and condition text, this is about section. And parental gate, if you are using in-app purchase and application is meant for kids, then you have to enable this, otherwise Apple will reject your app due to uh, due to parental gate not availability. Okay, thank you for your time, and I hope all the configuration goes well. And if any help is needed, you can email me at heavenapps@gmail.com, so I can get back to you and resolve your issues with Skype call, or even I can make TeamViewer call to show you how to configure data on your system. Wish you all good luck. Thank you.